Hello, you guys. Welcome back. And so now in this next video, we're actually going to explore some astrological analysis and price movement analysis kind of thing for XRP because um, the idea here is to figure out when the local top is going to be. Okay. And this is my question to Grok. From this conversation that we've had regarding Saturn, Neptune, and then also, Saturn, Neptune, Aries, and also Uranus transiting Gemini. And after this, y'all, it's the Sabbath. It's Saturday, and I'm just chilling out. I'm just glad that I'm still in this XRP position, and it looks like price is doing well. Like we're rallying a little bit. Just getting ready. I'm going to be checking over here on my phone just to kind of take a look at it. But I do think that we're going to break out of this consolidation period. Not financial advice. I do feel like we're going to break out of this consolidation period tonight. So, okay, now my question to Grok, given all of this stuff, given the historical context of Uranus transiting Gemini and the fact that it will be for a few more months before retrograding until. Oh wait, that's not my question. Here's the question. Okay. What significance does August 11th have, astrologically speaking? Is that possibly a date where bad news regarding crypto, geopolitical conflict, solar storms, or anything else that can have a negative impact on the world's markets? Is there some kind of planetary alignment on August 11th that could negatively impact Earth, financial markets, natural disaster, etc.? Okay, as of July 19th, let's explore the astrological significance of August 11th, 2025, and its potential implications for crypto markets, geopolitical conflicts, solar storms, natural disasters, and financial markets. Natural disasters, you guys, like on X, I'm seeing like animals like fleeing Yellowstone. Like I'm seeing things like there could be some natural disaster that flash crashes the whole market, all the markets, everything, crypto, everything, all the way down to previous bottoms, all the way down to here. Remember this line? There could be a flash crash, like the world is on fire, down to 65 cents. Because we went from before Trump was elected to Trump being elected we were at 55 cents to $3.50. Okay, y'all? So, yeah. We could flash crash. Everybody would just get wrecked. So, and here's August 11th. That's September. Let's draw on August 11th. August. This right here. So we could rally once here, rally again. Well, let's look at it. It's going parabolic. We could rally once, we could rally again. We could rally again and be at $7.40 and possibly all the way up here to $9.50. It's possible also to go up to 20, but I'm starting to think that this crash could be here at $10 right there. Oops. I'm starting to think that let's clone this. I'm starting to think it could do this. August 11th. Now that's only if August 11th plays a significant role in the markets. So let's go back to the 15 and get zoomed in on today. We're worried about today. Okay. Now, and its potential implications on crypto markets, geopolitical conflicts, solar storms, natural disasters. That's the one that I'm curious about. Yellowstone, cough, cough. And financial markets. Everything would be affected if something like Yellowstone happened. This analysis draws on planetary transits and historical patterns while critically assessing mainstream narratives and avoiding definitive predictions. Okay, so we're going to be speculative. Astrological significance of August 11th, 2025. I have to burp, but it's not ready. I'm sorry, y'all. August 11th, 2025 stands out due to several notable astrological events. Venus conjunct Jupiter, 14 degrees 3 seconds Cancer. This alignment occurring at 10:30 p.m. At 10:30 p.m. Pacific time, 12:30 a.m. Central time. Central Standard, isn't it? Central CDT on August 11th. I don't know. Is generally considered a harmonious aspect, blending Venus's love and money influences with Jupiter's expansion and optimism, and Cancer a nurturing sign. This could foster positive sentiment in relationships and markets, potentially boosting speculative assets like crypto. However, excessive optimism can lead to overvaluation or bubbles, a shadow side often overlooked in mainstream astrology. So we could be riding a high and it could pop, or it could be too inflated. So that makes me think that we would see something like August 11th. If we're riding a high, we could go faster. So August 11th is we could go from 7 to 10, or from 10 to the next 30% up, which is, that's 13. Oh my word. 30%. It's, whoa. I was looking for $30. What am I thinking? 60, okay. 30% is right there at $12.41. Okay. So we could go here and then we could go here, there, and then here possibly, and then we hit August 11th and it just pushes us up, and then after that the bubble flash crashes. So let's look at the other things that have to do with August 11th. Okay. Uranus sextile Neptune, 1 degree 26 minutes Gemini and 1 degree 26 minutes Aries. This aspect at 5:14 p.m., 7:14 p.m. Central, is a rare alignment, last prominent in the 1960s, linking Uranus's innovation and Neptune's idealism. It's seen as a creative and spiritual opportunity, especially for air, Gemini, and fire, Aries, signs. But its unpredictability could disrupt established systems, including financial markets. Mercury direct, 4 degrees 15 seconds of Leo. Or 15 minutes? I think 4 degrees 15 minutes, sorry. Mercury stations direct on August 11th at 3:30 a.m. Pacific time, 5:30 Texas time, ending its retrograde that began July 18th. So Mercury is in retrograde as of yesterday. Oh, interesting. This shift often clears communication delays, but can also trigger sudden news or volatility as markets adjust, a pattern noted in past retrogrades. Ongoing transits, Uranus in early Gemini entered July 7th, 2025. Saturn is retrograde in Aries since July 13th, and Neptune is direct in Pisces until its Aries ingress on March 30th, 2026. These create a backdrop of innovation, tension, and fluidity, with August 11th amplifying these energies. Historical context and potential impacts. Uranus in Gemini, the last transit, 1941 to 1941. Okay. Given the astrological alignments of August 11th, what notable events have taken place in the past with the same alignment? In USA and other parts of the world. Okay. Historical context and potential impacts. Uranus in Gemini, last transit, 1941-1949, coincided with World War II, technological leaps, financial upheaval. Bretton Woods, August 1945, atomic bombs occurred under similar Uranus influences, suggesting potential for sudden disruptive events. Okay. Sudden disruptive events. It could be a natural event like Yellowstone. This could translate to crypto volatility or geopolitical shocks in 2025. Venus-Jupiter conjunctions. Historically, these can signal market booms. I don't know. Yellowstone seems like a big deal. Like, that would impact the whole planet, I feel like. These can signal market booms, Venus-Jupiter conjunctions, but also crashes if overextended. For example, 2000 dot-com bubble. The Cancer placement might focus on real estate or consumer spending, indirectly affecting crypto. Venus-Jupiter conjunctions. Historically, these can signal market booms, the tech rally in 1980, but crashes also in 2000 dot-com. Uranus-Neptune sextile. The 1960s saw social revolutions and economic shifts, Vietnam War escalation. This aspect could inspire crypto innovation, DeFi growth, but also confusion or scams, impacting market trust. but also confusion or scams. Tether. Does Tether get... So maybe it's not Yellowstone, but maybe Tether gets investigated or banned. Tether gets banned from the United States because they refuse to get audited. Uranus-Neptune sextile. Would you... What do you think about Tether being banned on August 11th as a result of them refusing to be audited thus flash crashing the crypto markets? Oh, come on. What's wrong with this keyboard? Also impacting stock markets due to crypto's increased market cap. For a brief period of a few months or so until, oh come on keyboard, until Saturn and Neptune are 0 degrees Aries next year. Okay. Specific risks on August 11th, crypto markets. The Venus-Jupiter conjunction might initially lift crypto prices due to optimism, but Mercury's station direct and Uranus's volatility could, I almost had to burp, sorry, could bring sudden sell-offs or regulatory news, SEC actions. There it goes. Trending sentiment on X suggests mixed views, bullish on liquidity, but cautious on corrections. Just checking my phone there, indicating potential for a dip if bad news emerges. Geopolitical conflict. Astrological sources, for example, astrodocanil.com, astrodocanil.com, highlight July 28th to August 11th, 2025 as a high-risk period for Mars-Saturn tensions linked to military standoffs, India, Pakistan, Middle East. Okay, well, military standoffs, period. August 11th's alignments could amplify these, especially with Uranus and Gemini disrupting communication, potentially sparking manifestation, potentially sparking misinformation or escalation. Solar storms. Spaceweather.com, July 19th, 2025 reports a sunspot number of 167, indicating active solar conditions. While planetary alignments don't directly cause solar events, the Uranus-Neptune sextile's electrical energy might correlate with heightened solar activity, risking infrastructure disruptions, grid failures that could spook markets. Natural disaster. Vedic astrology warns of Mars in Mritu Bhagda, Bhaga, Mritu Bhaga, and Saturn Rahu configurations in 2025, linked to earthquakes and volcanic activity. Oh my goodness, Yellowstone back in the picture again. Himalayas, Pacific Ring. August 11th's Uranus influence could trigger such events, though no direct causal link is proven. Financial markets, the combination of Venus-Jupiter peak and Mercury's shift could lead to a market top followed by a correction, especially if inflation data, recently higher than expected, prompts Fed uncertainty. Historical Uranus-Neptune aspects have preceded economic pivots, suggesting vulnerability. Historical Uranus-Neptune aspects. Uranus-Neptune. Okay, well, we need to dive deeper into astrology. Honestly, y'all, that's what I'm going to be starting to learn how to do, is looking at the grid and everything, because I would like to I'd like to get a real-time look at what's going on. Could this negatively impact Earth and markets? Planetary alignment. The August 10th to 11th large planetary alignment involves 6 planets: Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, visibly in the sky. A stargazing event, not a perfect 3D alignment. Mainstream science debunks claims of gravitational impacts like tsunamis, but astrological tradition ties such events to collective shifts. The Uranus-Neptune sextile and Venus-Jupiter conjunction on August 11th could act as a psychological trigger, amplifying market reactions to news. Okay, so whatever news we get during this August 10th to 11th is going to be amplified. It's amplified. It's also overinflated. It's very love. It's like euphoric. So that can act in both directions. A euphoric market crash because the world is on fire, like Yellowstone, like, oh my gosh. But if it's not Yellowstone and it's like the Ring of Fire, or like the underwater volcanoes and or earthquakes or something, and people start freaking out, and the news is making it seem bigger, then it could be amplified, driving the price down for a flash crash. Critical perspective. Establishment narratives dismiss astrological predictive power, focusing on economic fundamentals, Fed policy, GDP. However, market psychology driven by fear or greed often defies logic and historical correlations. For example, the 1940s suggest astrology's influence on sentiment. Solar storms, while not alignment driven, are more plausible disruptors, with recent sunspot activity supporting this risk. Likelihood: the risk of negative impacts peak if external triggers, for example, conflict news. Notice how it says news too. So even Grok is saying, like, it's probably not going to be as bad as they make it seem. Solar flares. Solar flares could cause, power outages and things like that. Alignment with these transits. A moderate probability exists for volatility. Crypto dips, for example, 10 to 20%, stock sell-offs, or localized disasters rather than global catastrophe. So localized disasters could be a global, global like news event, causing the whole world to go into panic. Okay, now let's ask this here. We're at 24 minutes. Let's copy this. I don't understand why you're not responding, Grok. Okay. As of July 19th, let's explore the astrological alignments of August 11th, their historical correlations with notable events in the United States and globally, followed by a speculative analysis of a potential tether ban and its market impact, grounded in the provided astrological context and economic considerations. Astrological alignment: Venus conjunct Jupiter, Uranus sextile Neptune, Mercury direct. Background transits: Uranus in early Gemini since July 7th, Saturn retrograde in Aries, and Neptune in Pisces until March 2026. These alignments blend opportunity, Venus-Jupiter, with unpredictability, Uranus-Neptune, and a shift in perception, Mercury, set against a tense backdrop of Saturn's restraint and Uranus's revolutionary energy. Uranus definitely has got that revolutionary energy. Historical events with similar alignments. Finding exact matches for all these transits on August 11th is challenging due to the complexity of planetary cycles, but we can identify past August 11th events with analogous astrological themes. Venus-Jupiter conjunctions, Uranus-Neptune aspects, or significant Mercury shifts, and assess their nature, historical data suggests. These are all August 11th. I meant to ask, like, the astrological alignment. Not August 11th, like the anniversary. Okay, speculative scenario, tether ban on August 11th. Hypothesis: USDT, the largest stable coin, is banned on August 11th, 2025 due to its refusal to undergo full audit, exposing potential unbacked reserves. This could flash crash crypto markets with ripple effects on, like reading XRP Ripple, on stock markets due to crypto's growth market cap, currently 2.5 trillion. I think it's more than that. I think it's 4 trillion. Astrological rationale: Venus-Jupiter conjunction. This could inflate crypto prices pre-ban, creating a bubble ripe for collapse if bad news, for example, Tether, emerges. The Cancer placement might focus on public trust, amplifying panic when reserves are questioned. Uranus-Neptune sextile. Uranus in Gemini's disruption could manifest a sudden regulatory move or crypto chaos, while Neptune's idealism might cloud Tether's stability claims, triggering a loss of faith. Mercury direct. This shift could bring decisive news, for example, a ban announcement, but its Leo energy might exaggerate market reactions, leading to a flash crash. Saturn retrograde. Okay, just checking my phone again. Saturn's caution in Aries could delay recovery, reflecting regulatory scrutiny or legal battles, with stabilization possibly awaiting its 0 degrees ingress in February 13th, 2026. So we're looking at some event. I think that, so it's possible that, this is not financial advice. So here's August 11th. August. Okay, now let's move to, oops. So here. Or wait, where's November? That's November 10th. Okay. Okay, let's try that again. So here's August 11th. August 11th, we pull back to previous support areas. And it's probably going to be in this region here. Between like $3. And then it rallies again. And that's when we go to $100. Something like this. Flash crash. And then next year, it takes off to hundreds, if not thousands. But there will be very few people that make this, that make it. There'll just be very few people that make it. Everybody's going to get wrecked. It's going to be, oh, yay, awesome, and then boom. We'll have to pay attention to divergences. I mean, we're like, if we're to look at this on a 12-hour, on a 6-hour, I mean, 4-hour, and then look at where the price is. That, I mean, that's technically a bearish divergence on the 6-hour. So maybe this pullback from 360 to 330 was that divergence playing out. But we'll have to keep an eye on divergences as time goes on. Let's get back to this. Saturn retrograde, Mercury direct, ban announcement, Leo, and okay, this shift could bring decisive news. For example, a ban announcement, but its Leo energy might exaggerate market reactions, leading to a flash crash. Saturn retrograde, Saturn's caution in Aries. Okay, now also keep in mind, news happens during timing. So, like, this is not a very massive divergence pattern, I don't think. And going to the daily, it's like, it's part of the same wave. It's really hard to tell. But if we go to the 2-week, and we see that this price only gets up to $4, right? And it ends up landing right here, and this momentum wave starts correcting, and we're at August 11th, I'd be looking for some news, and I'd be ready to short, because whatever happens is going to be euphoric. Euphoric in the positive or euphoric in the negative. And if we don't get there, July, August 4th, yeah, that's the top right there. So we either go up like crazy and break this divergence, or we don't. And we confirm that we have a massive bearish divergence pattern here with this and, with that. So just keep that in mind. Saturn retrograde. Saturn's caution in Aries could delay recovery, reflecting regulatory scrutiny or legal battles, with stabilization possibly awaiting its 0 degrees ingress in February. Okay. So, natural disaster followed by a pump that leads us to super high, $20 or something like that, $30. And then we hit November, and that's the flash, that's the real crash. So we're having two events. One event, this is purely speculative, not financial advice. One event takes us down to right here, $2.30. One set of bad news. We pump twice, and we just don't get there with this momentum wave. And it crashes down, and we spend a week of consolidating, and then it bounces right back. Good news. Some kind of good news. And that sends us back on this rally. And a lot of people are going to get wrecked there. A lot of people are going to be buying in and have been waiting on the sidelines to buy in. Okay. And so it's going to send price up. And we are going to be looking for a target of $25 to $100. And then then November 11th happens. And it takes us all the way down to this support, which is 59 cents. And from here, crypto is dead until next year, when the alignment happens at 0 degrees Aries. So that's the idea. Neptune's future ingress, the 0 degree Aries alignment, March 30th, 2026, might restore confidence if a new financial system, for example, audited stablecoins emerges. Okay, RLUSD. And also, the United States creates a CBDC. And that will be the reason why the U.S. has to create a CBDC, keeping the Fed alive. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but something happens. RLUSD. All of the banks announce, like Chase, JP Morgan Chase announces a stable coin. Everybody announces a stable coin, and it basically there's way more stable coins, and there's no need for Tether anymore. And Tether also announces a stable coin called USDA or USDTA, like Tether America, like something like that, just like an American only coin, so that they can skirt being audited, because Tether does have a massive amount of US treasuries, so crashing Tether would be counterintuitive. Market impact. I don't know if it would be counterintuitive. I don't know how it would affect the treasury market. Market impact. Crypto markets, a Tether ban could depeg USDT, causing a liquidity crisis. With 120 billion roughly in circulation per DeFi llama, a 10 to 20% devaluation could wipe $10 to $24 billion, cascading to Bitcoin negative 20 to 30% to $80 to $90,000 per Bitcoin from 115, and XRP to $1.70 to $2 from 285. Okay, so we could potentially look at something like this 250, between $2 and 250, because we're not at 285, we're at 342. Historical crashes. 2022 Terra Luna suggests a 2 to 3 month recovery. August, September, October, November. I don't know. Aligning with Saturn, Neptune, 0 degree period. So this could happen in November, 2 to 3 months. November, December, January, February. So 3 months. The Terra Luna 2022 crash was 3 months. And it could be a lot less impactful than I'm suggesting. So it could just be 20 or 30 to 40%, sending XRP down to $5 instead of $10 or $8 or whatever. Stock markets, crypto's correlation with equities, for example, NASDAQ per Investopia, could drag stocks down 5 to 10%, especially in tech. Okay. Broader effect, geopolitical tensions, for example, the Middle East, or solar storms, sunspot activity at 157 per spaceweather.com, could exacerbate panic, while natural disasters, earthquakes per Vedic astrology might add pressure. Feasibility and critique, likelihood, Tether's audit refusal is a known risk. For example, New York's AG 2021 settlement. But a ban requires coordinated action, SEC, CFTC. Unlikely on a single date without prior signals. Ex post speculate audits by 2025, but no ban consensus exists. The establishment narrative downplays stablecoin risks, favoring CBDCs, suggesting a ban might be a stretch unless evidence of fraud emerges. Also, CBDCs would be more regulated, and like if stable coins could be owned by people like Trump who are seeking to enrich themselves, they could skirt regulatory, stuff just the same as Tether, and they could compete Tether out of the market using the same tactics, saying, yeah, it's worth $1. Yeah, it's pegged. And just totally cut the pie up a whole lot. And then other banks like Chase, Bank of America, hopefully Bank of America doesn't have one and they just die, because Bank of America is evil. But other banks end up having stable coins of their own, and then the pie is divided up. Duration, a few months. Crash, until February, March 2026, fits Saturn-Neptune stabilizing influence, but recovery depends on new regulations or alternative stable coins. Yeah, so that plays in. Banks are ready. Banks already have the stable coins ready to go. Missing factors, energy costs, mining impact, altcoin season delays, mining energy cost, altcoin season delays, and global liquidity, Fed policy, could prolong the downturn. A ban's scale might also be mitigated by decentralized alternatives. XRP price impact, pre-ban 285. XRP could rise to 3. We're there. Post-ban down to $2, $172. With a low of 150, panic peaks. Recovery by 2026, Saturn, Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, XRP could rebound to 3 to 5. Okay. So, August 11th does have a astrological, excuse me, an astrological significance. It has heightened euphoria, and so that could mean that the heightened euphoria exacerbates the outcome of what comes into the news. All we have to do is look for August 11th here, and we'll go to the daily. And we'll look for a divergence pattern. So how can we paint a bearish divergence? Price has to be moving up. $10. There's our target. Our August 11th is technically over here a bit more, but something like that. August 11th, right there. Okay. And how does that impact the overall bull run? It doesn't. People are going to get wrecked. But it goes right back up. And we would have killed this momentum wave right here. So anything that was supposed to happen during this momentum wave, like if it's already cresting over right now, but like this momentum wave would have played out. So we can't use it anymore. So now we're going from September. We have to look at September, and we would have to play from here. September, October, November. So let's do this. And let's give ourselves some more bullish divergence. So it comes down and it barely dips. Okay. Something like this, right? And then now we are ready for another there, right there. Now we're ready for another bearish divergence, November 11th. And that's when we go deep. That's when we go deep. So keep that in mind, you guys. As of right now, we're just looking at the markets, and we're playing this next week, and hopefully this consolidation period is over with, and we can go on this next rally. and I'm not going to sell until we get to our target. And the target is up here at $4.20. And oops. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do right here. That's the target. So yeah, you guys, interesting stuff. Astrology plays a big part of human psychology. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're doing this market stuff, because trading stocks, trading crypto is all human psychology. Like, that's what it is. It's a visual representation of the psychological structure, or the psychological movements of the human brain. And then there's also manipulators like bots and whales that amplify things. And then there's also astrological alignments that give you a roadmap or a calendar of taking a look at what certain dates are going to look like, what alignments are going to look like. So if you find that stuff interesting, I know it's a bit lengthy, but it's very informative. And I'll try to boil it down more as I get more into kind of just sharing this information. But yeah, it's definitely going to save some booties, because if you're not a market maker and you don't have the inside info, then there's only one way to really know what's going to happen on any given day, and that is not on any given day, but on big days like the Saturn Neptune 0 degrees Aries birth of coinage. Last time that happened was 3,000 years ago, and it's about to happen next year. Stuff like that, that's a big one. August 11th, a big one. November 11th, that's a big one. So let's keep trucking along, and I hope that you guys keep, crushing it out there with your trades. And yeah, you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sabbath, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.